and this is a conversation I've had with one of my best friends. We've been best friends, just to give you context, 30 years. So we talk about everything, right? But it is hilarious when we think back to the conversations that we had about sex, about women when we were in our 20s. And it highlights what we talk about when we say male privilege. For a lot of men, a lot of young men, and even men today, sex is not a partnership with their significant other. Sex is not something that two people want to enjoy together. When I was coming up, it is about, all right, what you gonna do for me?
So service, yeah.
If you got yours or not, it's not. I don't care. Did you do what I needed to be done? That's how we viewed sex for a long time. A lot of us did, right? And I didn't realize how toxic, how messed up I was here and here until I got into my second marriage. Because even though we grow and you learn that, hey, this is a partnership, we're in this together, all of those years of feeling like sex was something, an act, a service that should be done for us, right? And then having daughters and hearing conversations on the phone with their friend, going through their phone, and they're even battling the same things today, where they feel like in order to get a certain amount of attention, in order to have value to this guy, that somehow they have to provide a service. And I think that that is something that we can't have this conversation and not talk about, because I think it's real. Because when we talk about sexual violence, we talk about domestic violence, I think some of that starts with that toxic mentality that, hey, this act ain't no partnership. This is what you were supposed to do for me. And I think a lot of us have been guilty of that, right? So again, I don't want to go super deep with it, right? But can you talk a little bit about being younger and having that mentality, that sexual expectation, right? Can we talk about that a little bit?
Well, again, y'all got a unicorn on. It's not a unicorn. There's a lot of us males that have gone through this. So
yeah,
my first sexual experience was trigger warning. So y'all put that in there. Was sexual abuse. Yeah. So I was 8 years old. I was abused by, and that again fed into another man yet again harming me, right?
Yeah.
So sex for me is an interesting thing, because when you go through abuse, you either become the monster or you do something with it, right?
Yeah.
And I was at a crossroads where I had to choose those two options, and I chose to do something positive with it.
Yeah.
So my wife, she's also someone who has experienced sexual
survivor
abuse
as well.
So that was at the forefront of our marriage, was how do we do this, right? We went to sex therapy, and when you're both, I honestly feel like the ancestors, God, Creator, brought us together so that we could heal and continue to heal from that, because it's a daily journey. But like you said, she's triggered when it's not that partnership and that unity and that spiritual energy that happens. Yeah. If it's just a flesh thing, she gets taken back because that's what happened to her, right? So, yeah, it's always a partnership. It's a connection piece. Yeah. We didn't do anything until we were ready to. So for me, it took, I was what? People are gonna be like, what? I was like 22 years old. Yeah. When we were finally able to be together.
To do that.
Yeah.
In a healthy way. Appreciate you sharing that, man.
Yeah.
My first experience was with a teenage girl who was much older than me, and I was only 6, right? And so what that led to for me was I thought it was disgusting. Then there were some other things that I saw at a young age. So I actually made it all the way through high school almost a virgin. Like I wasn't as hypersexual as some of my friends because of that trauma. For me, I think sex was something where I found worth. So, well, maybe this is like one of the few things that maybe I'm decent at, right? It literally was me grasping for value. failed baseball player, no college degree, you got 2 kids, single dad, you broke, you ain't nothing, right? So I started to find value in sex, which I'm using people, right? But then also there's that expectation attached that, hey, I'm not in this act for you. We're not in this together. You doing me a service, emotionally and physically for me, right? And the amount of trauma that caused, in the years it took to not even realizing it, because remember, we're living in a society where that's what men do. That's how it's supposed to be, right? Every other song, I come up in hip hop culture. Every other song is talking about what a girl's supposed to do for me. So even when I may have gotten past that part of my life, it was still being reinforced. And so, yeah, I think me and my wife too had to do some healing because she had her own traumas coming into our marriage. And it is still a journey. Yep. We're trying to get to a space where it can be more consistent and it can be healthy, right? But you have to address those traumas. And I think it is consistent work, not just the traumas of the past, but I got to be careful what I feed into now, right? When I'm on TikTok or I'm on Instagram and I might come across okay, swipe wherever, right? But we have to be more aware now, right?